All right, so get this.
Oh.
We're diving deep into Indian hospitality today.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
It is. We're looking at Samhi Hotels Ltd, specifically their Q2 results for fiscal year 25.
Okay, got it.
And you've given us some really great sources for this deep dive.
Oh, good.
Their press release financial statements, investor presentation.
Nice.
We even have some of your own questions in here.
Awesome.
Which we appreciate, by the way.
Yeah.
But one thing that really stood out to me when I was looking at this stuff
Yeah, what's that?
is how aggressively Samhi seems to be expanding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're even converting an office building into a hotel.
Wow, that's pretty ambitious.
It is, but before we get into, all the fancy stuff,
Right.
let's just set the scene a little bit.
Okay.
Samhi had some pretty stellar growth this quarter.
Yeah.
Revenue up 21.2% year over year.
That's impressive.
Not bad, right?
Not bad at all. And, their EBITDA is even more impressive.
Huh.
We're talking a 37.6% jump.
So earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this basically means that their core operations are becoming a lot more profitable.
Right, and a key metric for hotels is RevPAR.
Yes. Revenue per available room.
Exactly, and that tells a pretty positive story, too.
Yeah.
Samhi's RevPAR increased by 16.5% year over year.
Wow.
So more guests, higher room rates, or some, clever combination of both.
Right.
But either way, it's a really good sign.
Yeah, for sure. They're not just growing, they're growing smartly.
Right.
But I think we should dig into what's driving this success.
Okay, let's do it.
They've made 2 big acquisitions since last quarter.
Okay.
The first one is a 170 to 175 room upscale hotel
Okay.
in Hyderabad's Hitek City.
Ah, Hitek City, the heart of India's tech boom.
Exactly. And they got this hotel through a variable lease agreement.
Okay, what does that mean?
So this means that their costs are tied to the hotel's performance.
Okay.
So it's a pretty clever way to manage risk, especially in a dynamic market like India.
Yeah, so less upfront capital, more flexibility.
Exactly. Smart move.
Okay, and what about the second acquisition?
So the second one is a 142-room operating hotel in Bangalore's Whitefield area.
Okay,
And they're going to renovate it and rebrand it as an upscale hotel.
got it.
But it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
They're also developing a brand new 200 to 220-room upscale hotel
Wow.
right next door to the one they just acquired.
So they're going all in on Bangalore and Hyderabad.
It seems that way.
Makes you wonder why those two cities.
Right.
Is it just the booming tech scene?
I mean, that's definitely a factor.
Yeah.
But think about the ripple effect. Strong commercial activity. It attracts not just tech companies, but also businesses from other sectors.
Right.
So more business travelers, more conferences, more demand for high-quality accommodation.
Okay, so it's like a whole ecosystem.
Exactly.
And it seems like Samhi is strategically positioning themselves to cater to all these different types of travelers.
Exactly. They've divided their hotels into 3 categories.
Oh, okay.
Upscale, upper, mid-scale, and Midwest.
Got it. And each segment has its own story to tell, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so what are the stories?
Well, the upper upscale category, that's their star performer.
Okay.
They saw a 21% year-over-year increase in RevPAR in Q2.
Wow.
This is likely driven by the return of business travel, which tends to favor those higher-end hotels.
Right, the ones with all the amenities.
Exactly.
And business travelers, they're often on expense accounts, so they're probably less price sensitive than, say, like a family on vacation.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so what about the upper mid-scale segment?
So they saw a slight dip in occupancy,
Oh.
but their average room rates are up.
Okay.
So this suggests that they're successfully increasing prices.
Interesting. So even with fewer guests, they're making more per room?
Exactly.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, we have the mid-scale segment.
Yes.
So I'm guessing these are the budget-friendly options.
Exactly. They're designed for efficiency and value.
Okay.
And we're seeing solid performance here. Occupancy is way up, but average rates are about the same.
So they're attracting a more price-conscious traveler.
Right.
Okay, so we've got the growth story, the strategic acquisitions, the different segments.
Yeah.
But what about the financial side of things?
Yeah.
How healthy is Samhi financially?
Let's take a look at their financial statements paint a pretty encouraging picture.
Okay, I like encouraging.
Yeah. So for starters, they're back in the black. They returned to profitability in Q2 of fiscal year 25.
Okay.
And this is a big turnaround from the same quarter last year when they actually reported a loss.
That's a great sign.
It is, but,
Hmm.
hotels, they're capital-intensive businesses.
Yeah.
I imagine they carry a fair amount of debt, right?
I was just thinking that.
They do,
Yep.
but they've been working on improving their leverage ratio. So that's their net debt compared to their EBITDA.
So even though they have debt, they're managing it responsibly.
Exactly.
And I guess that's what really matters to investors at the end of the day.
For sure, a healthy balance sheet is crucial for any company,
Mhm.
especially one that's growing like Samhi.
Absolutely. Okay. Are you ready for the really interesting part?
Oh, I love the interesting parts. Lay it on me.
Okay, so it turns out Samhi isn't just playing the real estate game. They're also tech savvy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've developed this proprietary asset management tool called SamHI Intel.
Okay.
And get this, it even has a mobile version.
Wow, wait. A hotel company with its own custom-built software?
I know, right?
Tell me more.
It's fascinating how they've used technology to optimize their operations.
Yeah, how so?
Well, for example, they've used SamHI Intel to reduce the impact of holidays on their average daily rates.
Oh, interesting.
You know how hotels often see a dip in occupancy during certain holidays?
Yeah, people are traveling to visit family or just staying home.
Exactly. But by analyzing data and adjusting their pricing strategies, they've figured out how to keep those rooms filled
Right.
and the revenue flowing even during those traditionally slower
So
periods.
they're turning those slow periods into opportunity.
Exactly. It's pretty clever, right?
That's seriously impressive.
It really shows that they're not just relying on traditional hospitality practices,
Right.
they're embracing technology to gain a competitive edge.
Exactly. And this tech savviness, coupled with their focus on maximizing revenue, it sends a very positive signal to investors.
Agreed. But we can't forget that Samhi's success isn't solely due to internal factors.
Right.
We also have to look at the external market dynamics.
Of course.
So what kind of external factors are we talking about?
Well, for one, the robust commercial office space growth in key cities.
Okay.
That's fueling business travel, which in turn is boosting demand for hotels.
Right, we talked about this earlier. Hyderabad and Bangalore, they're experiencing massive growth in the tech sector.
Exactly, and that spills over into other industries as well.
Right.
More companies, more conferences, more business trips, more demand for hotel rooms.
And it's not just offices. The rebound in air travel is a major factor, too.
Absolutely, more people flying means more potential hotel guests.
So it's like all these factors are coming together at the right time for Samhi.
Yeah, strong demand, new inventory coming online, potential for future acquisitions.
No wonder management is feeling optimistic about the rest of the fiscal year.
They're citing strong demand, those exciting new properties we talked about, and the potential for even more acquisitions down the line.
Wow.
But here's what I find particularly interesting. They're not just banking on external growth.
Okay.
They're also prioritizing internal growth initiatives.
Like what?
Things like renovations, rebrandings, and of course that innovative move of converting an existing office building into a hotel.
Whoa, hold on. Converting an office building into a hotel.
I know, right?
That's wild. How does that even work?
It's a fascinating example of their out-of-the-box thinking.
Okay.
We'll definitely need to unpack that one further.
Yeah, we definitely will.
But before we get into those details, I want to touch on something really important.
Okay, lay it on me.
This is where it gets really interesting and potentially game-changing for Samhi.
Okay, you said game-changing. What do you mean?
Well, with all their strategic moves and how well they're doing, it really makes you wonder,
Yeah.
could Samhi become like the dominant player in the Indian hospitality market?
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
It is.
I mean, they're doing well,
Right.
but dominant India is a huge market.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe we can dig into their financials a bit more.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what the numbers say.
So their unaudited consolidated financial results
Yeah.
show that for the quarter ending September 30, 2024, their revenue from operations was a strong $29,337 million.
Okay.
That's a pretty big jump from last year. Same quarter,
Yeah.
$24,196 million.
Okay, so revenue is definitely up,
Oh.
but are they actually making money?
Yes. Their profit after tax came in at a healthy $126 million for this quarter.
Okay.
And remember, they were actually in the red during the same period last year.
Oh, wow. So a significant turnaround.
Yeah,
Investors must be happy.
I'm sure they are.
What about their debt, though? We talked about that earlier.
Right.
How's their balance sheet looking?
So as of September 30th, 2024, their total assets were valued at $35,186 million.
Okay.
And they've got a good cash and cash equivalents balance of $1,946 million.
That sounds promising, but I bet there's still quite a bit of borrowings, right?
You're right. Their borrowings totaled $21,565 million.
Okay.
Debt is pretty common, though, in the hotel industry.
Yeah, especially with companies that are trying to grow.
Exactly. It's all about finding that right balance.
Right, the balancing act. Okay, let's talk more about this impressive ref payer growth.
Yeah, their rev payer for Q2 FY25 was €4,529, a 16.5% growth year over year.
Wow.
This upward trend really highlights the demand they're seeing across their markets.
And we talked about this earlier, right? How commercial office space is booming in cities like Bangalore and Hyderabad. Those are prime locations for Samhi.
Absolutely. This robust commercial activity,
Yeah.
all those business travelers, it fuels demand for hotels.
Right.
Office space absorption in these markets, it surged year over year.
Wow.
It just indicates strong growth in the sector.
So they're in a good position to capitalize on all this.
Definitely.
It's like they're riding the wave of India's economic boom.
They are. And air travel is rebounding too, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. More passengers, more potential hotel guests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems like they've really chosen the right markets.
Yeah, they have. Okay, let's zoom in on their different hotel segments.
Okay.
Their upscale and upper upscale properties.
Yes.
Those are their premium offerings, right?
Yes, they are.
What makes them stand out?
Well, they're designed to cater to those discerning business travelers
Yeah.
and people who want that more luxurious experience.
Okay.
Think spacious rooms, high-end amenities, multiple dining options, those large meeting spaces.
So like where you'd have like a fancy business conference.
Yeah, exactly. Or like a lavish wedding reception.
Right. Okay.
And right now they have 5 hotels in this segment, totaling 1,074 rooms across 5 key cities.
So not a huge footprint yet, but definitely a high impact segment.
Yeah, and their Q2 FY25 performance shows that occupancy is up, average room rates are up. RevPay are showing healthy year-over-year growth.
Okay, so the luxury market's booming. What about their upper mid-scale hotels, though?
Right, so these hotels cater to a wider range of travelers.
Got it.
Those business travelers on a bit of a tighter budget, families on vacation, that sort of thing.
Okay.
They offer a more standardized and efficient design, but still focus on comfort and quality.
Okay, so comfortable accommodations, maybe a breakfast buffet, but not like the spa treatments or anything.
Right, exactly.
Got it.
And they actually have a much larger footprint in this segment.
Oh, okay.
15 hotels and 2,163 rooms across 10 cities.
Wow, so they have way more of these upper mid-scale hotels.
Yeah.
Makes sense you'd expect higher demand for that compared to the luxury segment.
Exactly. And even though they saw a slight dip in occupancy in Q2 FY25, their ability to raise average room rates shows they're managing the segment well.
Okay, and then lastly, we've got the mid-scale hotels.
Yes, the budget-friendly option.
Exactly. What's
Right.
going on there?
So these hotels are all about efficiency and scalability.
Okay.
They offer a good quality but affordable experience.
Okay.
Perfect for travelers who want value for their money.
So clean, comfortable rooms,
Yeah.
basic breakfast, and maybe free Wi-Fi.
Exactly. No frills, but you have everything you need.
Right.
And they've got 11 hotels with 1,564 rooms in this category,
Okay.
spread across 7 cities.
Got it.
And these hotels are seeing a surge in occupancy.
Oh, wow. So strong demand from budget travelers.
Looks like it.
So each segment is performing well, just in different ways. But it all adds up to a pretty impressive overall picture for Samhi.
It does.
They're doing a lot of things, right?
They are. Remember that question we asked earlier?
About them dominating the Indian hospitality market.
Exactly. What do you think now?
Well, I mean, considering their expansion,
Yeah.
Their focus on those high-growth markets, their diverse portfolio, their strong financial performance, I
Yeah.
think they have a real shot.
It's ambitious, but yeah, I don't think it's impossible.
What I find really interesting is how they're approaching their growth.
Yeah.
It's not just about building new hotels.
Right. They're thinking outside the box.
With things like converting existing buildings into hotels.
Yeah, like that office building we were talking about.
Yeah, that's a bold move. Why did they decide to do that?
Well, it's a really smart way to tap into existing infrastructure,
Uh-huh.
potentially save on development costs.
Right.
They're basically repurposing a space and turning it into a moneymaker.
And it's a sustainable approach, too.
Absolutely. Reusing existing structures instead of always building new ones.
Exactly. It aligns with all that focus on environmental responsibility.
It does, but it's not just about external growth.
Right.
They're also investing in internal growth renovations and rebrandings.
Okay, tell me more about the rebranding.
So they're planning to upgrade a bunch of their ACC portfolio hotels
Okay.
and convert them to Marriott brands.
Oh, Marriott. That's a big name.
It is,
I can see why they do that.
right? It elevates the quality of their offerings.
Yeah.
But it also gives them access to Marriott's global loyalty program and network.
Oh, so they're getting a wider audience.
Exactly. And potentially way more bookings.
It's a win-win.
Definitely a smart move.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered their financials, their acquisitions, their different segments,
Yeah.
their growth strategies, their focus on expansion.
Uh-huh.
Samhi is a company on the move,
They're definitely playing the long game.
and with their management team and board, they seem to be well equipped.
Definitely. They're not just riding the wave, they're shaping their own destiny.
Well, let's not forget about that office to hotel conversion.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think it's time we get into the details of that project. All right, let's talk about this office building turning into a hotel.
It's pretty wild, right?
It is. It's like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
You know, corporate space, one day traveler's haven the next.
I know. And this particular project
Yeah.
involves an existing office building in Hyderabad.
Oh, yeah, Hintech City.
That's the one.
They really like that area.
They do. It seems like a smart move.
It does. So taking a space designed for, cubicles and meetings
Right.
and turning it into a place where people are going to sleep and eat and relax.
Exactly. A place with all the amenities you'd expect.
I mean, it sounds like a huge project.
It is.
What kind of challenges do you think they might face?
Well, I mean, first of all, the layout of an office building
Right.
is totally different from a hotel.
Yeah.
Think about plumbing, electrical systems,
Yeah.
guest room configurations.
Right. Offices aren't really built for things like ensuite bathrooms
No, they're not.
or room
It's
service.
a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it seems like it would get really complicated.
It does, but the benefits are pretty big.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, they can use that existing structure, so potentially save on construction costs and time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Plus, it's a much more sustainable approach.
Right. We're all about reducing our environmental impact these days.
We are.
So they're being innovative and eco-conscious.
Exactly.
Okay, but how do they make it actually work?
Well, I think they need to really carefully assess the building.
Okay.
Things like ceiling heights, natural light, the flow of the space.
Yeah, just to make sure it would even work as a hotel.
Right. They might have to make some major structural changes
Oh, I bet.
to create those comfortable guest rooms, lobbies, common areas.
It seems like they'd need to bring in some serious design help.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
They need architects and interior designers who specialize in hotels.
Right, because it's not just about making it look pretty.
No, they need to think about the brand identity. Yeah, incorporating local elements, making sure the guest experience is seamless.
Yeah, so it's a complex project
It is.
with a unique set of challenges.
Uh-huh.
But if they pull it off,
Yeah,
it could really change the game for them.
it could, and, might even inspire other companies to think a little differently.
Yeah, get out of the box a bit.
Exactly.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing.
Yeah, what's that?
Remember that Samhi Intel tool we were talking about?
Oh, yeah, their secret weapon.
It's not something you typically hear about with hotels.
Right, they're really embracing technology.
Yeah, and it's paying off.
It is.
But what does all this mean for our listener, someone who might be interested in the Indian hospitality market?
Well, I think if you're looking for a company that's on the rise, Samhi Hotels is one to watch.
Yeah, they're not just along for the ride.
No, they're in the driver's seat.
And their mix of owned, leased, and managed properties, their focus on those key markets, their willingness to try new things,
Right.
it all points to good things ahead.
It does.
And remember that question we kept coming back to?
About them dominating the market.
Yeah, could they actually become the biggest player in the Indian hospitality market?
I think it's a valid question.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. But their journey so far makes it seem possible.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Samhi Hotel's Q2 FY25 results,
Yeah.
we're leaving you with a sense of optimism.
Definitely lots of potential there.
They're on the move, and their story's just getting started.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, their success will inspire you to think a little differently.
Challenge the status quo.
Yeah, because sometimes those unconventional paths,
Right.
they lead to the most remarkable destinations.